Hey friends, welcome back to the channel and to the Blueprint. Today we're tackling a pretty good question, and it keeps a lot of restoration contractors up at night when it comes to their commercial restoration. And it's coming straight from our pros over at CATx. It's our consulting and training company here to help you grow your commercial business. The question is, how do you compete with the big guys for commercial work? When I say big guys, maybe it's franchises. It could be just big independents in your market that have been there for a very long time. It's daunting. Those giant firms, they have deep pockets. They have flashy reputations, lots more trucks. They just look a lot bigger and they can feel unbeatable, but they're not. Here at CATx, we've got 5 key strategies to help you punch above your weight class when it comes to commercial restoration. Let's dive in. First up, play to your strengths. The big guys might have scale, but smaller contractors have agility. You have an agility and a special place in your community because people like to work with people like you. You can offer personalized service, faster response times. Believe it or not, that's true. And flexibility that huge firms can't match. The old adage is the Titanic takes a long time to turn around, and a small speedboat can zip around and adapt and overcome. In commercial restoration, that's what clients want. Can big companies do that too? Of course. But I've watched time and time again how difficult that can be for a big behemoth. They have processes, they have a lot of things going on. And you might become that large company one day. But the ability to stay seeming small for your customer will win you new jobs all the time. Clients love it. Here at CATx, one of our phases is we train you to highlight what sets you apart. What makes you different? What makes you the purple cow? The local expertise and the hands-on attention so that you're not just another name on a bid list. If you are doing any community involvement other than restoration, if you're supporting little league teams or if you're part of some other big organizations, people are probably rooting for you. Now, they're rooting for big companies too, but I promise you, if you leverage yourself the right way, customers would rather deal with someone who they feel like is their person, their guys, their gals in the speed dial. Sometimes a big company makes it feel more cookie cutter. Maybe you want to avoid that. Next up, build relationships, not just resumes. This is a huge one. I would say in our workshop, relationships is probably the most common thing. You need to build a relationship, which means you're going to build a brand. You're the brand. You're what they're calling. They're calling you based on your reputation and the relationship that you built based off of trust. Not just what jobs you've done for anyone else. All anyone cares about is what you do for them. Don't forget that. Make them feel like you are only working for them and they are absolutely your best, favorite, most incredible customer. Big firms, big companies, big players, they lean on their brand. Okay, they have commercials on TV and they lean on that and they think that's enough to get them work. But commercial clients like property managers and business owners, they value trust. Can they trust you? Do they believe you? Are they getting an A team or at least an A- team every single time? Or maybe those big brands out there that might be listening to this, you have a B and a C team. Every business probably gets there. Try not to. Try to keep your C teams leveling up or leveling out. Coach them away. But your brand, your reputation. I have done commercial restoration my whole career, and I've won jobs being a higher bidder because people liked our team and how professional we were and that we were consistent and that we did what we said. That seems to not always be the case. Big firms lean on their brand. You can lean on your trust and your ability to adapt and to cultivate great relationships and customize your delivery services and your experiences. So get out there, network, solve their problems before they even hire you. Get to know people, figure out what they need, solve that, and they will tell their friends and colleagues at conferences about you. Maybe you show up and do a free site walk. We can call that an ERP, emergency response plan. You can kind of devise a plan if your building flooded, if your building had a fire or has mold. What are the most key important parts that we would do this? Maybe you can give them advice in other ways. Why don't you let them know that since you know all the other contractors in town that do other things that you don't do, that you can be the person they call. Say, hey, do you know a commercial electrician? Do you know an elevator company? Do you know a guy that stripes a parking lot? What about tree service? Have all those people in your database. Be the guy, be the gal that knows a guy or a gal. That's huge. That's one thing we really focus on here at CATx Consulting, is showing you how to turn those connections into repeat business. That's the beauty of commercial. Is you could possibly get one more, 5 more, 20 more jobs. A residential job, a homeowner, they might recommend you to somebody at the tennis club or at the church, but the odds are much, much less. Commercial clients can really, really, really catapult your business when you outshine the corporate giants every single time. Focus on and ask them, what would make a difference? What do they favor? What do they desire in a contractor? Okay. Third strategy, specialize and shine. The big guys often take a one size fits all approach. I mentioned that earlier. This is how we do it. This is our 95% process, which, by the way, processes are great. But when it comes to a customer, they got to feel like they're not part of a model, like a cookie cutter idea. The big guys focus on that. They kind of like, they're looking at mass. They're looking at revenue that has to come in. They're working on national clients that they haven't even made a relationship with. I think that's amazing to me, is you've got a national client, you get a phone call, someone called you up. They don't know you, so they don't trust you yet, other than corporate told them to call you. You know, they've got their eyes on it. So, but you can niche down, master something specific, become good at something else. Maybe you're great at high-rise water mitigation. Maybe become great at mold and healthcare facilities, or you become extremely good on industrial plants because you know how to do BI claims. You can really make things happen so that the customer at the industrial place continues to get their products out or products in. You can keep them up to operation in certain ways. You can build some specialized containments for their building and keep them safely working, keep their employees working. That could be your niche. You become known for that. Clients pick specialists over generalists all the time. That's when it matters the most. Now, let's talk value over price. Big firms can take a cut on a job and underbid it because they have a lot of bigger resources, but you can win by offering smarter solutions. I have won many jobs, projects, bids, RFPs, not being the cheapest, but by defining a scope that the customer trusts and believes that we're the right choice. It's not always just price. It's not apples and apples. Think of temporary setups to cut down time, phased repairs for business continuity. So phased repairs means maybe you'll work at night for the first couple of days in the critical. They've got to stay open. They've got to rent these rooms. It's not the worst in the world. They're a little bit wet, a little stinky. Who knows what they are? Maybe you come up with solutions on how to use their ballroom for something else and serve food. You can bring in a catering company to help feed an organization because their kitchen's down. Who knows, right? Maybe you get really good at you're getting known for. Maybe you become synonymous with your documentation that helps your customer get repaid by their insurance company. Okay. You don't have to create this back and forth for 3 to 4 months, just getting them what they probably should have had in the first place, because that's a specialty you have. We teach you a lot of those things. We've been doing that for a long time. I can teach you what those look like. I can help you stand apart. Less hassle, faster recovery, not just the lowest number. That's what the customer really wants, especially in commercial. Remember what I said on a previous blueprint. Residential, the customer is really fearful of the money. While commercial is not just an open checkbook, they're more interested in getting back open. Finally, the fifth one, level up your game plan. What do I mean by that? Competing with the big guys means looking the part. Professional proposals. Don't just do sloppy, simple, vague proposals. Do good scopes. Do solid, good contracts that protects the customer and you and your subcontractors and your employees. And a crew that looks sharp, trucks look sharp, you show up, you do good lineups, you have good safety protocols. You can really win by doing great at those things consistently. You don't have to be the best in the market. You just need to be consistent to develop a reputation that you stand apart like that. You don't need their budget. You just need their polish. You can partner with rental companies for equipment in case you don't have enough. That's a no-brainer. Lots of people rent. You can scale up. You don't want to even buy a lot of equipment to just sit on the shelf for those 1 or 2 times a year. Partner up with other resources, subcontractors that can do things that you can't, or bring in a consultant, CATx, to nail that big pitch. You've got a big, important project coming up, and maybe you haven't mastered a big presentation and pitch to a very complicated job and a customer. We step in for that all the time and help you win the job and stay for the first couple of days to get it on cruise control. Then you look like a hero in your backyard, and then we teach you how to leverage that relationship because of your performance and the result that you're going to create to get more and more and more jobs just like that. We have those tools. We have that experience. We have that desire. I want to see more people getting into commercial restoration that do it right. We see a lot of jobs that just, it's not the same. You can't treat it like a residential job. And it ends up setting a precedent that commercial consumers, commercial clients start to believe that there aren't enough great companies, and then they do hire the big guys. Imagine if there's small or medium-sized restoration companies that absolutely give boutique service. It would be incredible for the entire industry, and especially in your market. So there you have it. 5 ways to take on the big guys for the commercial work, straight from the CATx War Room. It's about leveraging your agility, building trust, specializing, delivering value, and running a tight ship. You don't need to outspend them. You just need to outsmart them. The tortoise and the hare, right? The story. Are you ready to grow your commercial restoration business? Is it time? Have you mastered the residential? You just are seeing the residential market being diluted and overly saturated. Leads are harder to get. Programs, TPAs. Commercial is the solve for that. It's the solution that you're looking for. CATx Consulting and Training is here just for you. Check us out at www.restorationadvisors.com/CATx. You'll see about our program, probably see an upcoming event. We've always got 1 or 2 live workshops that we have planned a couple of months out. Grab a seat. We don't do those very large. They're usually 25 to 30 people max, so that we get a lot of interaction with people. We give you a whole lot over those 2 days. I also recommend that you check out other topics that we've had here on YouTube or our blog on our website for the Blueprint. Again, I've linked all that down below because there may be a topic that starts to unravel an area where you could probably use a lot of help with. Let me ask you, have you ever beaten a big firm for a job in your market? Have you ever, like David and Goliath, won a job that you just said, I just beat them off of the right scope and the right connection, or maybe you knew someone. Let me know how you got that job, and even if any specifics you want to do. I'd love to hear about it. Probably would tell the story on this channel again, but I want people to know that just because a company's larger doesn't mean they're better. Walmart, McDonald's, they're not the best shopping experience and they're not the best burgers. People would rather go to another place and get great service. Hit subscribe, hit like. I don't want you to miss any of these. I think they're pretty good stuff. And you might find something that really, really resonates, that might be doing an event, might be doing an online webinar, or might be doing something. I might have a download. I might be giving away free assets and tools. Subscribe, like, hit the little bell, all that kind of stuff, YouTube stuff. And we'll see you on the next one. Appreciate you being here.